was on my way to meet Anderson. Anderson Chabdeo. I had on my favorite green khaki pants, a tank top that unfortunately showed off my entire bra, but a lovely kimono to cover up this unfortunate mishap. Anderson Chabdeo from Trinidad and Tinder. Now, I wasn't expecting much, some free food perhaps, because the last time I checked, I had no money to my name. I thought that it would be nice to finally fall in love. You see, dating up to this point had been dismal, to say the least. There was Tori. Tori, who spent an entire summer wooing me from army camp. But as soon as we got within the same physical space of one another, he was like, no! And then there was Castro. Castro the rapper, who ended up taking $20 worth of gas money from me, and despite all of the pictures of money on his Instagram page, he still hasn't paid me back. And then there was Mike, Mr. Only texted me at 3 o'clock in the morning, hey, what are you about to do? Do you want to come over? Mike. But these guys, they weren't the entire problem. You see, there was also me. I tend to do this thing where I fall for guys incredibly quickly. I tell them as soon as I know I've fallen for them, and that's usually not okay. So I figured this time was going to be different. This time I wasn't going to fall in love on the first date. Nope. I wasn't going to tell them that I had fallen in love by week 2. This time, I was going to be cool. Cool Durann. I got out of my car and I was shocked by how attractive this guy was. Skinny as hell, but I had already noted that from the in-depth analysis I had done of his Tinder profile. You see, I had given him about a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10, but he was more like an 8. And with the right jokes, he could probably even move on up to a 9. Instead of taking his car out of the garage, he closed it and said that there was a barbecue joint within walking distance of his apartment. I thought it was strange that we were utilizing exercise on our first date, but I thought that maybe this guy, was eco-friendly. What's better than a guy who loves the environment? He ordered a burger and I ordered some sliders, and though he claimed he wasn't hungry, I had a feeling he thought the food was just as terrible as I did. When he got up to go to the bathroom, I got my phone out and texted my best friend, my cousin, and my sister all in record timing. He's perfect! Crying emoji, crying emoji, crying emoji! He got back to the table and we continued to talk about everything you're supposed to talk about on a first date. He told me that he played guitar, and I told him that I loved to sing. He told me that his family from Trinidad was a little crazy. I told him mine, definitely wild. He told me that he had majored in accounting in college, and I told him I knew absolutely nothing about accounting. He walked me back around the corner to my car, and before I had the chance to get inside, he said, so, do you have any plans for the rest of the night? Did I have plans for the rest of the night? No. Should I tell him that I had plans for the rest of the night? Probably. So I begrudgingly told him that I did. He leaned in closer and closer and closer. But I'm not the type to kiss and tell. I got back in my car, heart racing, fiddled with the radio a bit. Da 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 da. I love you, baby, and it's wide open. I need you, baby, to warm a lonely night. Oh, pretty baby, trust in me when I say I love you, baby. Don't bring me down, I pray, oh pretty baby. Now didn't text me for an entire 24 hours. After sending the last text, I said, hey, without being too forward, I'd love to hang out again. You see, I'm trying this thing where I just say what I feel as soon as I feel it, just in case it doesn't get lost in the universe. But if it was just a one night, one dinner thing, then that's cool too. I deleted his number and all of our text messages so I would never again be tempted to contact him in our lives. My life. In my life. I got back to swiping on Tinder and I got a message from an unknown number and I knew that it had to be Anderson because, god damn it, I had already memorized it. Hey, I'm glad you're being forward. I'd love to see you again too. What? He was deviating exponentially from the plan. You see, after I texted him, I was never supposed to hear from him again. That's how it usually goes. This time, I told myself Cool Durann really had to take over. I was going to do the thing where I wasn't going to say how I feel ever, and in fact, I wasn't even going to have feelings to tell him about. I ended up seeing him 2 days later. We went to the movies where the chairs are huge and they're set up in pairs. Then we went to that movie theater again. He took me out to dinner a lot, but it was always someplace new and I never pulled out my wallet once. We went to an arcade and then we went to a different arcade and we walked through Centennial and held hands and he played guitar and I would sing and it was just sickening how much this made sense. I know. These dates were lacking some serious creativity, but I figured that we would start dating for real sooner or later because come on! How many people have you been on this many dates with? This was an accomplishment. I deserved a blue ribbon. I deserved a holiday. I deserved a relationship. Durann Durann Dungee Chapday. I figured that after dating for 2 to 3 years, I would move into his high-rise penthouse downtown. His location in Atlanta provided me a prime location to continue to do that whole acting thing that I was trying to do, and even if it didn't pan out for the first few years, it didn't even matter because he would continue to do his whole managerial, accounting, numbers, whatever it was he actually did, and it would provide me with enough money to never have to worry about it again. Our 5 kids, 5, God, that's too many people to take care of. Our 4 kids, Dorm, Salvatore, De Niro, and Jack would be the most lovely Afro-Trinidadian Italian princesses and princesses. After Jack had finished up his 2nd term as supreme ruler of the universe, Anderson and I would retire to Trinidad and Tobago, sipping soft, cold jelly coconut water under the island's prime and average year-round temperatures of 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Date 27, order 501. We stood in the to-go line and I knew that today was the day that I had to ask what was going on between the two of us. You see, we've been on all of these dates, and Cool Durann was expiring, and I had Storm and Salvatore and De Niro and Jack waiting. He sat in his living room with the food that we had gotten to go, and I asked, so I know we've been doing this thing for a couple of months now, and I was just wondering if it was like a real thing. You see, if it's like a real thing, we go ahead and put a name on it, because I think that that'd be a cool thing to do, and I'm just trying to, see where your head's at, because I know where mine is, and I just, yeah. He looked at me with those distant but ever so present eyes and said, "Durann, I specifically don't want a girlfriend. I mean, I think you're great, and had I met you a couple years earlier, I'm sure that we could have been a thing for real. I just figure it's my time in life to do what I want to do, and I thought about maybe, bringing up you paying for your part of these dates sooner or later, but then I forgot about it. And honestly, Durann, things can only be as serious as they start out. We matched on Tinder. So, is there something I should do differently in the future with other girls? Is there... While we're there, you can go ahead and, tell me, our greatest moments." He was asking me to rate him. 0! On a scale of 1 to 10, 0! I figured that it was probably time for me to go. I gathered my purse, I walked down the stairs, I opened the garage, I wiped my eyes, and before I had the chance to get in the car, he said, "So, can I have a hug?" A hug? After essentially breaking up with me, even though I know we weren't technically together, he wanted a hug? And so I gave him a hug. As I stood there in his arms, he said, "Durann, I do think that you're great. Don't settle for any of those lowlifes out there. You deserve exactly what you want." My heart was breaking, and this guy was moralizing my story? I didn't even have agency to moralize my own. But he was probably right. Cool Durann wasn't me. In fact, Cool Durann spoke up even less than actual Durann already does. I figure that I'll always be the type to fall in love on the first date. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.